Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Welcome to World This Morning with Shizza Hashmi today on a very pleasant day. Well, here in the federal capital, Islamabad, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very clear and sunny day outside. And I wish I didn't have to go to my classes after my work because I wish I had to spend my day sleeping under the sun all day. But unfortunately, that is not going to happen because of course, I have a commitment to my, let's say, my degree, and I have to attend my classes. That is so sad. But let's take a look at the weather updates from around the country, and then we can move forward to what we are talking about today. So to begin with, mainly cold and dry weather expected in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, light rain thunderstorm with light snowfall over the hills expected at a few places in Malakan, Peshawar divisions, Kashmir, and its adjoining hilly areas. Also, according to Met Office, continental air is prevailing over most parts of the country. So, well, I think we are finally maybe moving towards the summer season because we've had quite a lot of rains. And for the past 2 months, every time the rain spell starts, my mom is like, this is going to be the last rain of the winter season. We are now entering into summer, but we haven't been seeing any signs of summer ever since. But whether this is interesting, this is probably a prolonged spring season. So ladies and gentlemen, well, there's something I'm really guilty of, and I'm pretty sure all of you out there are too. Whenever we wake up in the morning, before even opening our eyes, we start looking for our phones around us. Have we lost it? Is it under our pillow? Is it under our bed? Wherever it is. And the first thing that we do is open the phone, check our apps and everything. I mean, it's great. I mean, the communication that you have to do with the people you love, it's just a click away. We are headed towards, globalization. Everything is in your hands. It's absolutely great. Everything is being streamlined as well. Communication, friendship, everything. But I feel like things that mean a lot, like friendship, and like, let's say being close to someone, like caring for someone, sincerity, should not be streamlined. You have a gadget and you have hundreds of thousands of contacts in them. But do you really have friends in them? I mean, can you count or list at least 5 people from your contacts who will be there for you if you need them? So please make the people who are important to you closer to you and don't entertain everyone around you because, of course, you're not a chocolate and you can't please everyone around you. So just choose the people wisely and then shape your day and shape your life around them. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about different things, actually. But for the first segment, a lot of people out there, teenagers especially, you have been writing to me asking, for career advice, what you guys should be picking. So this segment is sort of going to address all the people who contacted me asking if they should be picking medical field or not. First of all, I'm not the right person to ask that because I didn't pick it. Well, I did study pre-medical in my FSC, but then I sort of, dropped it because it was not interesting for me. But to address that, we have been joined by someone who herself happens to be a dentist, who herself happens to practice in dentistry in the Twin Cities, and has been doing that for quite some years now. And she will be speaking about, I have actually some FAQs that I need to be asking the dentist, but I never go to them. So I will, make the use of opportunity and also ask her for you guys, is it right to choose dentistry and then to pursue it as a career? So without further ado, on my right-hand side, we've been joined by Dr. Zunaira Said, who happens to be, as I've already mentioned, a general dentist. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Shizza. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam. I'm absolutely fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
So to begin with, you are a dentist, and you know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah.
So are there apples in your house? Do your, let's say family members have apples?
They do actually, but our apple is the floss.
Oh,
if you
perfect.
floss every day, you keep the dentist away.
Well, that's just a message right in the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, floss every day. But okay, Zunaira, so, living in a Pakistani community, as you know, when you're growing up, you hear things like, you have to be an engineer, you have to be a doctor or something, and you actually did choose to be a doctor. So were you forced into it? Was this your own decision? Tell us all about it.
No, actually, alhamdulillah, my parents are always free to the idea that, beta, do whatever you want to. My father was like, beta, if you want to do MA English, MA Islamia, do anything you want to, but make sure you get good at it.
Wow.
My inspiration was actually my dentist back in 8th grade. I had really malaligned teeth, so I needed braces. So I had a couple of visits. And then I realized that the job was really nice.
Yeah.
So in 8th grade, I decided that I'll become a dentist. And alhamdulillah, I've been blessed that I got into a very good college and then I became a dentist. So I wasn't forced at all.
Yeah.
It was my personal preference, and alhamdulillah, I'm actually very glad that I made this choice.
And since you are talking about personal preferences, a lot of people who want to become a part of, let's say dentistry or anything along those lines, people tell them this is going to suck the life out of you, and you will not be able to have a social life or friends at all. You won't be able to enjoy. Is that true?
Not at all, honestly. I was the most fun-loving student in my class.
Yeah.
I used to bunk, I used to go on trips and
Oh, wow.
everything. And alhamdulillah, I still managed to pass my degree with a pretty decent score.
Wow, mashallah.
So I think you just need to know when to study. There has to be a right time to study. You shouldn't study 24/7. I know people who do that. They end up draining themselves and they don't do well in exams. So what I would do is that I would, enjoy the entire year, and when the exams would come up, I would just study 24/7 for a month or so,
Yeah.
and that would make a lot of difference. So it's actually your own personal preference, your own choice, how you want to study as a medical student. But honestly, you can have fun if you want to.
Oh, perfect. I think that does sound great. But just before the show, Dr. Zunaira over here was speaking to one of our other guests that we will have in the second segment. And the other guest asked her if her job was difficult because, of course, we've seen dentists and doctors standing for 30 hours straight and working for the betterment of the society. And Dr. Zunaira said, yes, it is sort of hard, but it is very rewarding. And she was really happy about it. What does that mean? How rewarding is it? I mean, what is the kick that you get out of it working for people?
Honestly, if you've ever experienced it, I hope not. Dental pain is really, really
I haven't yet, but I dread it. Oh God, I hope I
exactly,
never
it's
do.
really bad. So when a person comes to you who's crying, an adult, a 30, 40-year-old person coming to you who's crying, and then you just do a procedure and the patient goes out happy.
Right.
So that feeling of satisfaction, it really does make a lot of difference. And honestly, it's not as difficult as people think it may be, because dentistry is a field in which you actually chalk out your own lifestyle, you chalk out your own routine. You can easily balance your personal and professional life once in your dentistry.
Oh, that is what I was going to ask you as well. How do you do that? I mean, for a lot of people out there who have regular jobs, who are dentists or doctors in any other field, of course, they have to be summoned every hour, any hour in the day, and they have to be there, right?
Exactly.
So how do you actually strike a balance between your personal and professional life? Are there days when your parents or your siblings are like, hey, please don't go to work today, let's spend time together, but you really have to. So how do you balance that?
Honestly, again, it's pretty easy. It's like, in dentistry, most of us are working 12 hours a day, which is pretty decent. You work from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening, unless you have a night duty. That is very rare.
Yeah.
So you can easily manage your routine according to that. And honestly, if you have a good boss and who decides to give you a day
that's
off.
when you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. So the working hours are pretty great, and you don't need to be in the hospital 24/7. There are very little emergencies, and we rarely have night duties. So if you're on a night duty that day, that's a different thing. Otherwise, the person who's at the hospital can easily manage without you.
Okay.
But that depends on the specialty you've chosen. If you're doing oral and maxillofacial surgery, that is pretty hectic. You have to be at the hospital once you're called. There is no, okay, someone else will do it for me, I can stay back. That's not happening in that case.
Okay.
So if you want an easy lifestyle, you need to choose your specialty wisely.
Oh, so you have to specialize in something even after you become a dentist. After BDS, you have to. Tell me about it. I mean, what are the options that anyone, out of you who wants to become a dentist, what are the options for them? What can they choose to specialize in?
Honestly, there's a whole sea of options that we have.
Okay.
Starting from the very basic one, it's operative dentistry that usually deals with your fillings, restorations, and root canals.
Okay.
Then you have surgery that deals with extractions, and honestly, it includes the surgeries that you do for facial fractures, cleft lip and palate, oral cancers.
Right.
So that is another option.
Okay.
Then you have prosthodontics that includes the dentures, implants, and rehabilitation, eye prosthesis, ear prosthesis.
Okay.
And then you have periodontology that includes the gums and the bone supporting the teeth. And honestly, there's so many orthodontics that relates to the braces.
Yeah, that's the only one I know.
Alignment of your teeth. And there are a lot of theoretical subjects as well, and semi-theoretical clinical subjects. You have oral histopathology, and then you have science of dental materials, community dentistry, and forensic dentistry that's not commonly practiced in Pakistan. But
wow, that's just
you have a
whole
lot
dimension that I personally had no idea about.
Exactly.
So,
a
but
lot
of all the branches that you have spoken about, are they available to study in Pakistan? I mean, if someone studying medicine in Pakistan and then wanting to pursue their career as a dentist in Pakistan for the long term, Should they be finding this somewhere in Pakistan?
Exactly, it's very common.
Okay.
You can find these specialities in any dental hospital in
Perfect.
Pakistan.
Okay. Okay, so after you have like 4 years of PDS, right?
Exactly.
And then after you become a dentist, and then you can choose to specialize. That's perfect. But now I think it's time for me to ask her some FAQs on behalf of, let's say, all of you out there as well. Because me personally, I've always wanted to go to a dentist, but I absolutely fear going to a dentist. I'll tell you why. So when I was very little, I loved roller skating, and there was this one day I was roller skating down a very steep slope. I fell, you know, my face on the ground, and my teeth were literally out on the road, all of them.
Oh, no.
My sisters, rather than picking me up, they were collecting my teeth, you know, just because we had the concept of tooth fairy, and everyone wanted money. So my face was bleeding and everything, and then that was the first and the most painful time I had to see a dentist. He did the worst things to my face and my gums. It was so painful. I hate ever going to a dentist. But since you are here, I am going to ask you some basic questions about personal hygiene.
Definitely.
So first of all, one of the most common issues for everyone out there as well, bleeding gums. Why does that happen, and how should we stop that?
Okay, bleeding gums is basically, it's caused by inflammation, infection in your gums. How does that happen? When you've got hard and soft food deposits, which are known as calculus and plaque on your teeth, they lead to inflammation and infection in your gums. That leads to bleeding gums. However, it is fairly common in pregnancy. There may be plaque or not, but it can happen. So that's pretty normal.
Okay.
And how do you manage that? Basically, first of all, you have to see your dentist as soon as possible. We need to assess the severity of the inflammation in your gums, and according to that, we will provide treatment. If it's not that severe, we might just go for scaling and polishing right away.
Okay.
And in some cases where it's a little progressive, we have to give you antibiotic gels and toothpastes and mouthwash.
Okay.
But in cases in which it is really severe, we opt for oral antibiotics first, and then when the infection and inflammation settle down, we go for scaling and polishing. And then we advise you to floss and give you some medication for the longer run, and then it helps. So that
this is probably a little off track, but I really do need to ask you this. I'm pretty sure there are some times when a patient comes to you who does not regularly brush their teeth or floss their teeth or anything, and the teeth are in such a bad condition. You have to be really polite to tell them to first of all start taking care of themselves. How do you do that? How do you manage the situation?
we tell them that this status is not healthy. The status of your tooth and gums is not healthy.
Okay.
You need to start taking care of it. We'll clean it for you right now, but you have to do it for yourself because otherwise you'll lose all your teeth in the old age, and you'll have to go for dentures and implants, which is very costly.
Right.
Dentistry is very costly,
Indeed,
honestly.
of course.
So we have to tell them to take care of the teeth, otherwise we actually haunt them with the money. They do.
And they learn a lesson as soon
they
as
do
you
get
mention the money.
realized because once they're leaving with a minimal procedure, they're paying a lot. So
So of course they don't want to come
they
the
do
next time.
get scared. For the
Okay,
next
that's
time.
perfect. But also one of the most common issues sort of that everyone faces, not only here, but I think everywhere around the globe, is bad breath. And it's not because I know a lot of people who do even brush and floss, but they have a bad breath. I have no idea why that happens, but you have to tell me why and how we can stop that.
Exactly. There are multiple reasons for bad breath, honestly. And a patient might be brushing for 2 times daily, but as you say, they end up with bad breath. Because there are multiple causes. It can be due to improper brushing. The patient might be brushing twice a day, but the technique is not proper. So poor oral hygiene may lead to bad breath. And especially when you're brushing, you have to brush your tongue as well. If you don't brush your tongue, you end up with bad breath.
Oh, okay, but it's not just always the mouth or the tongue. I mean, sometimes when you eat something bad as well, it's because of the stomach. Is it true, though?
Yeah, it does make a difference. And then the other thing is that patients who are smokers or use tobacco, chali and aswar, they have really bad breath. Otherwise, there's some conditions, there are infections in the gums, they end up, the patients having them end up with bad breath. So not that it cannot be controlled. First of all, you need to tell the patients to brush their tongue.
Yeah.
That's the most common cause of bad breath.
And not a lot of people know that, right? Because all of them do usually stick to the teeth, because that's what we see in the ads on TV.
Exactly. And then you have to teach them a proper technique. Because honestly, it's not their fault if they don't know how to brush properly. They're actually doing it twice a day for 2 minutes every time, but they still have bad breath. So you have to brush up and down and round and round against the gums.
Okay, perfect. So just one last question. What are the ingredients or some of the very important, let's say, minerals that we have to look for in our toothpaste?
Honestly, if you don't have a specific issue, if you don't have sensitivity or any other problem, you can use any toothpaste that has a good fluoride content.
Okay.
But
Okay.
within normal safe ranges. The toothpastes with extra fluoride content would actually cause damage if you don't need them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, just use a normal fluoride toothpaste. I think I'm not supposed to tell the brands.
Yeah, of course
here.
not. But like, so we don't
but
have to go
don't
for-
use those special sensitivity toothpastes, those healing toothpastes.
Okay, they're not worth it.
Yeah. You can use them if they're prescribed by your doctor. Don't use
Okay.
them on your own.
Okay, perfect. Because so we don't really have to go for the ones
Yeah,
which
exactly.
say kya aapki toothpaste mein namak hai, because you don't need namak. So
Yeah,
the only
any
thing.
normal toothpaste with a good fluoride content will do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Zunaira. But towards the end, for all the people out there who are now applying for medical colleges, an encouraging message for them, because of course it's their dream and they want to pursue it. So here you go.
Yeah, so I would like to say that make up your mind if you want to do MBBS or BDS and just stick to it. BDS is a very rewarding career because, and you can also choose your own time. You're your own boss basically. You can strike a balance between your personal life and professional life. So make up your mind, stay focused. It's not that difficult. You can do it. And just even if your parents force you, don't listen to them because it's your own personal preference, it's your own choice. You have to live with that career. So best of luck, and I hope you do really well.
Thank you so much for the kind words, Dr. Zunaira. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we're heading out to a short break, but when we come back, we will be celebrating art in all its different forms. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Sarangi is a bowed, short-necked string instrument from subcontinent, which is used in Pakistani classical music. Its flexible tunability and its ability to produce a large palette of tonal color and emotional nuance makes it unique. Carved from a single block of wood, the sarangi has a box-like shape with 3 hollow chambers called stomach, chest and brain. It's usually around 2 feet long and around 6 inches wide. It has 3 melody strings and 11 to 37 sympathetically vibrating metal strings.
Welcome back to Well This Morning with Shizza Hashmi on a very beautiful and pleasant day. It's a Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, and we have just now entered into the second segment of the show, and we will now be celebrating and discussing different forms of art. And for that, I have been joined by, well, different people, someone who happens to be a guitarist, someone who happens to be a singer, and also owns a salon, happens to be a hairstylist, because when we're talking about makeup or hair, lately, ladies and gentlemen, that is an art as well. And also then we have a painter, a real artist in terms of using colors and everything. But her perception of art is probably very different than what I believed art was. And I learned a lot from what she told me art is. So I think I will be introducing them to you without further ado. On my right-hand side, we have been joined by someone who happens to be a painter and a visual artist and also an independent curator. This is Ms. Shaila Muazzam. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here early in the morning. I know it's very hard, especially for artists to wake up early in the morning.
Exactly.
It is a common perception coming from them themselves, because every time I have them on my show, they're like, we're not morning people. I'm like, okay, perfect. So next we have Noman Kaleem, who happens to be a singer and also a hairstylist. Wow. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning to everyone.
Good morning to you as well. And this is a weird combination actually, and an interesting one, singing as well as, you know, being a hairstylist. We will ask about that. Sure. Next to Mr. Naman, we have Mr. Ali Zia, who happens to be a guitarist. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. So to begin with, Ms. Shaila, first of all, your understanding of art, because when I asked you if you were an artist, she said, I paint, but art has so many different forms. So please go ahead.
Well, I believe normally people think that art is just like painting and sculpture and this and that. But I believe art has different variations. The word art, it doesn't go for just painting and sculpture. It's not typical thing. I believe that art of life, art of handling your own attitude and situations, because as an artist I have different mood swings. Sometimes I'm deeply into my work, sometimes I have to deal with people because I've got to do the marketing of my work also. So I've got to, like, you know, have I have to understand all that, and I have to tackle all that. So that is also the art to handling situations. And then the situation we were like facing the last days, art of handling war. So, you know, these all things are basically, we always think that art is just like it's painting and sculpture and all the creative things. But being creative, handling the attitude, handling life, your job, your colleagues, everything, it's art.
Wow,
to me,
very
it's art.
beautifully said, Ms. Shaila. But how long have you been painting for?
Like ever since. I'm a born artist, and
wow.
I studied like my complete degree from like my art school, and then I started working at National Art Gallery, PNCA.
Wow.
And still working there. So it's like something art and art.
So you've been an artist ever since you were born. That's so amazing to have you early in the morning, because I love such spirits. You inspire people to, you know, find the art in them. And as you've already mentioned, there are different forms of art. But coming to Noman over here, how long have you been a singer for?
I think it's quite been some time that the interest was always there since the beginning. I was always into it, but finally when I started my career as a hairstylist, I started to, you know, learn few more things about being creative. So that was the thing that started, you know, hitting in my mind that I should, you know, it's the time that I should start pursuing this passion as well.
So basically styling came first and then singing.
Singing was there,
but
you know, in our country where we're living, actually it's not our bread and butter, so we have to do something.
You know, every time any singer comes on my show, I know it's rude to ask, but I always ask them if singing is a passion or profession, because of course you have to have something on the sideline to keep your life going.
For me, I would say it's a passion.
Wow.
So it gives me, you know, a very positive vibes whenever I'm playing, and the music gives me that that kind of feeling that I like myself about it.
Okay, perfect. So, like, are you planning to make it commercial as well? You're singing, or have you already done it?
We've been performing on different platforms.
Okay.
We've done a couple of concerts, gigs. So we're on to that.
Perfect. Alizia, when was it that you picked up the guitar and you were like, this is something I'm really passionate about and I need to learn? Are you self-taught, first of all?
Yes, but in my case, I took this as a passion. Like, I'm so into a moral family kind of a person, guy. So my family is not so sportive, especially my dad.
Okay, okay. But that's very
I
common
just
in
took it as a
Pakistan.
profession, as a passion, and as a profession, I'm into sales and marketing. I've been, it's been 4 years I'm in sales and marketing.
Wow, okay.
And right now I'm in a multinational organization,
mashallah.
or to do a marketing stuff and all that.
Okay, perfect. So I feel like it's the perfect blend because your job is sort of so intense. I mean, you have to deal with clients all the time and then organizations.
lot,
And
a
this,
lot.
this is something to take your mind off from work,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So is it the right time to ask you guys, request you guys to play something for us?
Sure.
Please
Would
go
love
ahead.
to. And as you earlier you mentioned that it's pretty hard for artists to wake up early in the morning. That's very true.
Okay, so everyone agrees to that. Every
Oh,
artist
yeah.
I've had over here.
100%.
Perfect. So I feel like a lot of thoughts come to you guys in the late night, so you're
Exactly.
awake all the time.
Yes.
It's we call it an inspirational time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because everybody in the home is like busy in their rooms, and we
You're
artist
sleeping and you
people-
have your own time. You can
Yeah.
decide whatever
Yeah.
comes in your mind.
Wow, so
I
isolation.
listen to music and I make something for me, tea, coffee, or whatever, and then I start painting or
Oh.
maybe sculpture. I've got my mind. So night time is for us.
Perfect, okay. So let's start the song.
So this is a song. It's basically the band called Strings, and we've prepared this song. So I hope you guys will enjoy it.
Of course, I'm sure.
देखा तुझे तो हुआ मैं दीवाना देख के ऐसा लगा साथी पुराना हुए बेगाने क्यों हुए अनजाने क्यों ये रास्ता तेरा ये रास्ता मेरा है दोनों की मंजिल जुदा हम दो हम सफर हम दो अजनबी हम दोनों का एक खुदा हुए बेगाने क्यों हुए अनजाने मैं डूब रहा
Wow, I love it.
डूब रहा बचाना मुझे बचाना मैं डूब रहा बचाना मुझे बचाना जगमगाती हुई रातें हैं लब पे है शिकायतें कोई नहीं मुझको सुन रहा हो डलता दिन मजबूर है मंजिल से दूर है बुझ रहा उम्मीदों का चिराग खता हो गई सजा हो गई पुराने दिन याद आए ना दुनिया के इस शोर में सीखा है मर के होती जिंदगी क्या देखा तुझे तो हुआ मैं दीवाना
Wow, absolutely love it. And one of the best parts of my job is actually free concerts early in the morning. And most of the time, I just get, you know, such in the flow that I start ruining your songs. Like I did with Bilal Khan's Bachana, because I absolutely love it. But this was brilliant, guys. Thank you
You
so
should
much
have
for
come
this.
jump in, because
I
I
tried
know
to,
we all have, you know, been listening to this song, and we all know the
We grew
lyrics.
up with it, actually. And you know what, Noman, I am such a bad singer. Otherwise, of course, I would have joined you. I kind of did. When you watch the repeat of this show, you'll find out how I ruined your song. But coming back to Miss Shella over here, you already mentioned that, you know, music inspires you, especially when you're working. But is there a specific piece of art, let's say in terms of movies or music or something, that inspired you so much and you actually made a painting for that?
There is a Tumri of Chikarvati, something I don't exactly
Okay.
know her name.
No problem.
Like I always forget, and maybe I cannot pronounce that.
Okay, no problem.
Her Tumri is beautiful.
Okay.
And I listen to it on and off, and I have painted some series on it. And it's the music, the lyrics, the tabla, and everything. You know, it drives my mind towards whatever I'm like I paint and all. So that's of course. And then
Are there any lyrics to the song as well?
lyrics of that typical.
Yeah.
Don't ask me.
Okay,
because
no, that's totally okay. But okay, it makes sense, because even the greatest singers and artists even in the world, they draw inspiration from different things. But Numan and Ali, you know, it's sort of vice versa as well. I'm going to ask you that, because she happens to be a painter and draws inspiration from music. Does it happen vice versa? Like just a few days back, I've already mentioned this in the show before, Beyonce and the Carters actually went to the Louvre Museum and then produced this song, a very inappropriate name, I'm not supposed to name it, but they draw inspiration from a lot of art in there. Does that happen to you?
I would like to say that obviously, because art is everywhere.
Yeah.
Even if you look at the sky at times, you see it's nature's art. So
Of
you
course,
can get
yes.
inspiration from that as well.
So is it true though? I mean, we see in the movies and everything, especially when they're singers and they have a guitar, whenever it's sunset time, they would go out and make use of that. Does that happen to you as well? Yes.
Definitely.
Of course, nature inspires you, right?
A lot of artists, they get their inspirations from different moods, because inspiration comes with the moods,
Yeah,
I
of
would say.
course.
So
What
it's-
about
it's
you,
always-
Ali? Is it the same for you?
Well, in that case, I'll go with Noman, because our thinkings are so much like
Similar.
Yeah, similar.
You guys have been friends for 10 years now.
Yeah, it's been almost a decade now.
Oh, and so ever since you were friends, did you have it in your mind that we are going to jam together and play together? Was it a
course.
thing?
Let me tell you that
Okay.
he was playing with some other band. We were friends.
Okay.
We were studying together. He was with some other band. We used to jam together. I used to be the PR manager of their band.
Their band, okay.
So they, you know, evolved, and they you know, just split the band and everything. And
And then you felt
after
like
that, we've
it's
planned,
time.
said, let's jam together and you know, stick together.
So did you guys ever produce or compose your own songs?
Not right now.
Yeah, but you are in the future.
We have some compositions we've been working on, but it's not the time that we should, you know, disclose it right now,
Oh, of
because
course.
we're still working on it.
But we'd love to have you back on the show once you have released your songs. But you know, you mentioned that you own a salon and then you're a hairstylist as well. That's just brilliant, because lately on my Instagram, all the posts that I have liked or are interested in are hairstyles and makeup. That is because of my job, ladies and gentlemen. I have to try something new every other day. But how do you strike a balance, first of all? It's sort of the best of both worlds, right? They're two totally different worlds. So how
Definitely.
do you do that?
Because that's something that's my career for me. That's my profession as a stylist. I have to keep working on that, because I always had this sort of passion to have something creative in my life.
Okay.
Because I was not the stylist from very beginning. Because it's been almost 4 years that I started this, I initiated this, and I came up with this thing, and I opened a salon. Before that, I was working on different jobs.
Okay.
And right after that, when I finally, just planned on it, so it just went into the right direction, that yes, this is something that I always wanted to do. So
Okay.
it's very creative. You get to learn new things every single day, because
Right.
today I would like to add this thing that every day it's something new that you have to
Learn.
learn.
I
Exactly.
agree with him, because every day is a new day, and every day you have another energy.
That's so
And especially
true.
in the field where I'm working, the grooming and makeup and everything and styling, there's something new coming every day. So you have to cope up with that.
And you know, actually, this is where I was coming to. So women have been using cosmetics and hairstyling ever since anyone can remember. But lately, I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. A lot of guys are so high maintenance. I mean, they want their hair fixed. They want their faces all, you know, clear and whatnot, the skin glowing. And it's absolutely brilliant because, of course, why not? You should be taking care of yourself.
Obviously.
But in terms of the community that we're living, do you think it's really more accepted? I mean, do a lot of people come to you for styling than they would before? Because it's sort of a new trend, right?
In my perspective, I would say that now people are more concerned about their grooming and their, you know, hairstyling and haircuts and everything, because if we talk about, you know, some like 5-6 years back, it wasn't that trending, because now boys are more into fashion and styling because they also want to look good, and
Which is
obviously they have
absolutely
all the
brilliant. Why
rights
not?
to look good.
Of
And
course,
why not?
of course. Do you agree with what he said?
Definitely.
I mean, I can tell by your hair, of course, they're waxed up.
Well,
And by the way, it's from my salon.
Okay.
yeah, I'm totally, honestly, I'm totally groomed by Noman. Yeah.
Okay. So, but like, do you have like a funny incident? I know you shouldn't be sharing this on the show, but no names. Do you have a funny incident from one of your clients at the salon? They wanted something, they showed you a picture of something, this is what I want, but you couldn't do it to them because, let's say, they didn't have enough hair or something.
I am the biggest example.
Well, there are clients who demands, you know, different styles, and they don't have that kind of texture. But still, somehow,
You manage.
you know, we have that kind of technology that's been improved, that we can still work on that.
Okay, perfect. That
we
makes sense.
come up with something.
Right, now coming back to Miss Sheila. Miss Sheila, in the introduction I said you're a visual artist, which sort of gives away that you already mentioned before the show to me that you work towards surrealism and you love to put it in picture in paints. Tell me about it. What draws you to do that?
Actually, surrealism is something which basically stays in your mind, and in real world you don't find that.
Yeah.
That's imagination.
Yes.
So I'm quite imaginative person.
Okay.
And in my paintings and in my sculptures, I use surrealism because that really connects to myself, my inner. And then there are so many things which I think that I can create, which I think in my mind and I don't see it around, and I think that I can bring it out and show it to people that yes, this thing can also be, you know, a part of our society, because surrealism, the acceptance of surrealism is like very few people accept that, and normally we are so, you know, blending up with regular things. So I believe there are so many things that which are supposed to be in our society, which can be like, you know, very different, very out of the box and all.
Okay.
But that's why, I mean, because this is the way I'm a out of box kind of a person.
Right.
So
I love it. I love your aura. I love your energy. So you always wanted to do something unique, and then, you know.
and I remembered that verse, Sanya Mora Re. That's a Turi by Chakravarti. I don't remember the woman's name, but Sanya Mora Re, something like that. Beautiful.
Wow.
And I literally want people to listen.
I will. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
Now you already, you know, sort of started singing. So is it okay if we make a request for you to sing just a little bit of a song? Okay, well, I'm not going to push you because I'm one of the people who my co-anchor Shazad, actually, every other day he asked me to sing on the show. And it gets so embarrassing because, of course, when you listen to my voice, you know I cannot sing. But Miss Sheila, who was this one, let's say, artist or painter that you were absolutely inspired by and that sort of, you know, made you become an artist or a painter? And also, since you love surrealism, you should watch a lot of Coldplay videos.
Yeah. Surrealism, in that sense, I like another artist who's not into surrealism, Van Gogh. I am in love with his work. And now people have done his animated paintings, blend in animation. It's beautiful, worth watching. And I have watched that short films many times.
And you know, actually, a lot of people have actually started putting the Starry Night on their coffees as well in restaurants. Exactly. Absolutely love it. How
on their shirts, and you know, it's beautiful. His so many paintings. There is one painting that is the sunflowers, you know. Yeah. And it is also, I've seen that on a book, on the cover of a book. I was like, wow. OMG, it's
so brilliant.
Nice.
And you know, people are making phone covers out of it and everything. It's so artistic and beautiful to look at.
In in Pakistan, I am so inspired by so many artists. Like we've got really, really interesting kind of artists like Gulji. You might have seen his work.
Yeah.
He's quite versatile. He did the calligraphy in a very abstract way.
Wow.
It's not typical.
Okay.
And then he used to put gold leaf. And then his son Amin Gulji, I'm inspired by his work. He's a wow person.
Okay.
And then Jamal Shah, I really admire his work.
Wow,
you know.
absolutely, so proud of them. Pakistan, of course, boasts a lot of artists, singers, painters, whatnot. But thank you so much for being with us on the show early in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. We will be wrapping up the show with a song by Noman and Ali. But before that, let me give out the links to you. So if you have anything to add to the conversation, write us on our Facebook page with the name of Well This Morning. On Twitter, Well This Morning without a G. Daily Motion on YouTube, also Well This Morning. And if you have missed this, you can catch the repeat at 11 p.m. tonight. So take care till the next time. Good morning. Headed over to you, Noman and Ali. Take the stage by storm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just
I'm
a
sure
little planning
you know
going
the
on.
lyrics. It's called Bolo Bolo by Sajjad Ali.
तुमने क्या देखा? Oh, perfect. I absolutely love Sajjad Ali. Obsessed with his voice.
Definitely, he's super talented.
It's one of the best. I love Paniyon Mein Chal Rahe, remember?
Oh yes, it's a beautiful track. Beautiful.
वैसे तो चेहरे हजारों हैं मेरी उदास निगाहों में तुमने क्या देखा बोलो 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 क्या देखा बोलो 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 क्या देखा तुमने मेरे में क्या देखा मेरी गाड़ी देखी या मेरा बंगला देखा या मेरा सारा बैंक बैलेंस देखा ना मेरे सपने देखे ना मेरा जज्बा देखा ना मेरा टूटा हुआ दिल देखा तुम्हें प्यार मुझसे नहीं है प्यार मुझसे नहीं है प्यार मुझसे नहीं है मैं तुमसे दूर चला जाऊं या पास चला आऊं इकरार तुमसे नहीं है
Magla Hills, the heaven of Islamabad. The abode of God, a place where you can explore your soul and meet power of natural elegance of mountains. Spread over an area of 12,605 hectares, the Magla Range, the foothills of Himalayas, are youngest hills with an age of 5,000 years old. Magla Hills are home to around 600 plant species, 250 bird varieties, 38 mammals, and 13 species of reptiles. Magla Range is characterized by many valleys, scenic spots, and beautiful water streams, especially in the monsoon months. Famous for their tranquil environment and lush green natural splendor, Magla Hills are a particular source of pride, harmony and spiritual solace. For the residents of Islamabad, many of whom make it a weekly ritual to scale the various trails to Damaneko and Pir Suhawa. Magla Hills send off its visitors with lasting trail of memories to relish in solitude and provide an escape from the relentless rhythm of life.